I grew up in Lincoln, Nebraska. I've lived a blessed life. I've had very good friends. I never really was without anything. I mean, my family wasn't rich, but we were just fine, well off. And I had one friend, Brent Claybaugh, a great leader, a great old friend of mine, whose father was a professor at the university. And his father told him one time something that he was then relaying to me, which is you've got to eventually come to terms with work and get a good attitude toward it because you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. Well, that just kind of like a water on a duck's back just kind of fell right off me because my whole thing at that time in my life was just work, save, travel, be broke. Work, save, travel, be broke. And the work part, I hated it. I didn't like working. So, I kind of shrugged my shoulders. I don't think I went so far as to roll my eyes, but much later, I was in my same pattern. This time it was much grander, though. I had worked as a truck driver and saved over $10,000, and I had gone to India. And while I was in India, great fan and lover of the Hindu philosophy, Vedic philosophy, Vedanta. I know a lot about saints and mantras and things like this. So I was traveling around, and in southern India is an ashram for Amma. Amma means mother, and this ashram is for this woman, and she's a big lady who is known as the hugging mother. She definitely has the world record for how many people she's hugged. She will sit for 8 or more hours a day hugging people. And I wasn't really interested in her specifically, but I was in that area, and she's well known to be a legitimate guru. She's a real sought guru. Real great actual yogis collect around her at her ashram. It's a nice thing. So I go there, and to stay there, you give them your passport, and then they assign you a room. And okay, so I go up to the office, and it overlooks this balcony. It overlooks the main auditorium area where she's hugging. So she had been hugging all day, and so I'm up there, and I get the room, and there's this English fellow there, and they say to him, "Go ahead, and we'll put him in that same room. There's like 3 beds to a room. You can show him around, whatever." And he's like, "Cool." And we hang out. Actually, she gets done hugging, and she ends up coming up the stairs, and she hugged one person right there. And if I had made any move toward her, she would have hugged me. But she looked me in the eye, and I felt really blessed. But I mean, lady had been, let her go eat and hang out for a while. So that's that. And the English fellow takes me, and we go walking. And we're walking around, and he's telling me about how silly it is that Americans come there and dress as Indians, and this like Rambo white thing. It didn't look like an Indian, but it definitely didn't look like a normal Englishman either. But so he's talking and talking about her philosophy and some of the miracles that have been attributed to her and things like this. And the foundation, if you had to sum up her philosophy in one word, that word is work. And a lot of what she teaches people is to put forth effort, productive effort in this life, working toward the good, really. So I knew this, and he was talking about it. But then at one point he says to me, and the sun had just gone down, the lights in the ashram all came up, and we're out walking. He says to me, "Why did you come to India?" Yeah, everybody has a reason for going to India. He was there, and I said, I came to India for cheap time. I mean, the real truth is I love the philosophy, but I knew I kind of am a little bit bratty sometimes with my words. I've learned to be a little more respectful, but I said, I just came to India for cheap time. It's I just don't like to work. At that exact moment I said that, all the lights in the ashram went off, boom, like power outage. And he goes, "Whoa, that doesn't happen very often." And I felt a little bit embarrassed, and it was really obvious that it happened right on the word, like right after I said that. And I just don't like to work. Boom, and she's well known as a miracle person. So I took it as something like actual. I was like, oh gosh, okay. And so we're walking on, okay. And we get back to the room. We get to the room, and there's a Czech guy staying there too. He had some interesting information. And this fellow says to me, he says, "Here, have you come across this book? It's called The Prophet by Khalil Gibran." And I said, I've had it. I never read it. I don't really read books about enlightenment from people who aren't enlightened. You know, if you have a saint who writes some stuff down, okay, that's worth something for sure. Or if you have a student of a saint who's like, you know, that's something. But this guy, he's an author and he's writing about a saint, a prophet. I say, well, you know, I just don't want to. Maybe he's crazy. The guy's like, no. Just read. Just open it up and read something. And I opened up the book, and what should I open to? But some guy asking the prophet to tell him about work. And I must say, given the context of what had just happened outside and the fact that her main philosophy is work, I took it as a passage that was given the stamp of approval by Alma. So I took it to heart. I have this book now still, and I actually pulled up the passage here. I'll just read the beginning of it for you. But this is still the only part of the book I've read. Okay, so someone asked the prophet, tell us about work. And the prophet says, you work that you may keep pace with the earth and the soul of the earth. For to be idle is to become a stranger unto the seasons, and to step out of life's procession that marches in majesty and proud submission towards the infinite. When you work, you are a flute through whose heart the whispering of the hours turns to music. Which of you would be a reed, dumb and silent when all else sings together in unison? Always you have been told that work is a curse and labor a misfortune. But I say to you that when you work, you fulfill a part of earth's farthest dream, assigned to you when that dream was born. And in keeping yourself with labor, you are in truth loving life. And to love life through labor is to be intimate with life's inmost secret. It goes on, but that theme runs throughout the passage. And I'll tell you what, I was a little bit, I felt kind of like a bad child, you know, like ashamed, in fact, a little bit. But I also felt tremendously blessed because that day, my attitude towards work changed. Really what happened, in large part, was my definition of what work was changed. Because I think we get these emotional reactions towards work. In this case, the word work, we have emotional reactions toward it. And that usually comes from this idea of having to do something that somebody else defines that's more or less menial sometimes. But in fact, a person's life energy, their life force, their life's work is really what work really is. So if you're an artist or a poet or a lover, your work is those very things. My work sometimes is communing with nature and just making music. Although my work is also doing tattoos and making sure people have high quality kratom for their life. But, you know, I'm going to be a writer. I'm going to write books. I have a lot of great ideas and plans. Now, I might not get paid 9 to 5 for these efforts and these projects, but looking back at the end of my life, that is what will be my life's work. And so I think more than anything, we need to upgrade our definitions of some very important words. And one of those most important words to upgrade our definition on is work. Because life comes and goes so quickly. And as that passage said, okay, I closed that window, but it's the procession, it's the method of life. It's the walking shoes of life. It's how we contact life is with work. And I guess that's all. You know, the day my attitude towards work changed. I really like making videos, but like it kept stopping the video. So this is the third time I've made it. I was going to do my best to refrain from saying anything about that. But if you've watched this far, then video's over. So I invite you, and I may you be blessed to imbibe and commune with the word work and the concepts in your heart in a way that you treasure the term. You treasure that term. The idea of work, it's the most precious thing. The most precious thing. And I really am defining work as something different than going to McDonald's for your job. A job and work A job might be work, but your work in your life, that's something sacred, something very special. It's what's valuable about life. And so, God bless Alma. I feel really fortunate because that for me was a little miracle, in fact, because that's her philosophy, and the power went out right at that moment. And then I opened the passage. I had the same guide the whole time. It was really remarkable. Anyway, God bless you. May your life's work unfold in a way that you are so proud. May you have blessed work to accomplish in this life. Om.